X-Men. Get it!
Ho, 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 everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your cheery X-Men podcast where we rank every story from, I don't know, frankincense to myrrh, I guess.
I'm your jolly elf, Adam.
And I'm Zach. Hi, Adam.
You're not Santa, Zach? Come on, it's a Christmas episode.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not filled with that Christmas spirit. I'm trying to put the X back in Christmas. And I'm doing that the best way I know how with X-Men stories where we're going to rank them. But you know what, Adam? There's not enough holly. There's not enough jolly. There's not enough joy in this room tonight. I think we need to make it more festive.
Well, you know, it'd be great. You know, like there's these amazing, delightful people that just warm my heart every time I hear them speak. I wish the Eddlemans were here.
The Chris's? What's that? Wait, do you hear?
Hi.
Oh, hello, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming. This is great.
We came drawn on a sleigh.
Whoa.
Socially distanced.
A socially distanced sleigh.
Yeah.
You know, I hear it's cold outside. So how about we warm up around this fire that we definitely have, and talk about some X-Men stories. Hey, first we should introduce you. It's Chris and Christi Eddleman from Chris's on Infinite Earths. Also, very good writers for a website that some of you may be familiar with.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Merry Chris's Moss.
Chris's Moss.
Chris's Moss. Moss Chris's.
Hi, everybody.
So
Thanks for being here. I feel like
I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
We've never gotten a guest at the same time.
Yes, we've each been on Battle of the Atom individually.
Yes.
And now we're here as a set.
That makes the most sense.
I was here last year for Christi Moss.
Yes. I was here for Onslaught, and then back when... Do you remember back when we did Acts of Friendship, the podcast crossover?
It was
you
beautiful.
were on that one. And then
so
y'all
fun.
we were all on the C2E2 special, though I don't think all four of us were on mic at the same time.
Yes.
No, I think
No.
Adam was not on mic when the other three of us were, and then I think you were on with Adam probably a few times.
Yeah, I think I had gotten on the plane by then, by that last interview. Man, it is weird that we all got together earlier this year, isn't it?
We got together literally like 1 week before things like got blasted to heck.
I know.
Like it was like Indiana Jones reaching under the door and grabbing his hat. That hat was C2E2.
That hat was me digging
where
through
we
a
actually
long
got to
box.
hang out. Yep.
But it's like if Indiana Jones didn't realize a door was actually
Oh,
closing.
we had no idea.
He like
In the
really
process.
leisurely grabbed his hat.
Here's the thing that we didn't talk about C2E2 was that everyone knew that, like, man, this coronavirus thing sounds bad, but it's probably not going to be that big a deal. I remember one of us specifically saying that.
I did say it was not. It was at the time that it was probably.
You remember how
something to not
everyone
worry about.
transitioned from handshakes to fist bumps?
Yep.
And we thought that was going to do it.
Yeah.
This will
We
solve
did.
everything.
I think my don't worry about it was definitely contingent on, like, we will have like good measures in
Hey.
place to
Hey,
deal
Chris.
with this.
That didn't so much happen.
And that was so foolish. That was so foolish
What a
of
fool
me.
you were.
People are definitely going to think I'm like a COVID denier. I was literally like, I was glued to news. That was just like,
Okay.
that was the prevailing opinion
Chris,
at the
you
time.
said this, but you also, like, since January, talked about the inevitable quarantine.
I did talk about the inevitable quarantine.
You just casually were like, oh yeah, when the IQ happens.
Yes.
Chris, in your defense, you've been a staunch informant for us about what's been happening within the science community leading up to the vaccine. And now that it's here, you've also, been championing it. So I don't think anybody could say otherwise. But despite this year's absolute zany Contagion-like experience, we do have some cheerful X-Men related stories to talk about. Zach, what's the first one here?
So,
X-Men
Yeah.
one of them is X-Men explicit. One of them involves the most popular X-Men,
True.
and one of them is X-Men adjacent.
Okay.
We're going to start with the popular one because it's the one with Santa Claus on the cover. Santa, for any of our younger listeners,
Santa Claus.
I just got that. Oh my gosh. It's Wolverine Volume 349. It's written by Rob Williams, pencils by Lawrence Campbell. Chris Justice does the inks. Paul Mounts is the colorist on this one. Hey, y'all. What's your favorite meme about Christmas movies? Is it calling Die Hard one?
It's for me. It's calling Gremlins a Christmas.
Yeah,
movie.
it is a Christmas
Okay,
movie.
but is
Happens
Gremlins...
at Christmas.
Chris, is Gremlins in the Criterion Collection?
No, but I love Gremlins. I think it's an important watch.
It's great.
It's in the Criterion collection. How about that?
We'll get
Yes.
that. We'll get that running. This story is a riff on very famous, very annoying to be called a Christmas movie, and like an argument that's like, shut up, guys. It's Cracked has not been a going concern as a website for like a decade. We cannot make this joke anymore. And it's Wolverine doing a Die Hard.
Die Hard is a
Not
Christmas movie.
He is
just for the record.
not doing this on my podcast that I edit, Adam. I have final say over all of your words.
Unfortunately, we don't have a Hans Gruber here. We have a bunch of machine gun toting elves.
And not near enough ductwork.
No, not any really, is there?
No one crawls through ductwork.
No, there's no ductwork. Nope.
That is unfortunate.
So the villains of this piece are called Black Christmas, and I was like,
Mess with the ESS.
MESS. It is. This comic can't have been conceived in more than 15 minutes.
And the writing is really like every character has a quippy insult that is just like the worst joke possible. I'm like, who wrote this?
Rob Williams. Rob Williams was the credited writer on this one.
Rob Williams. Christy asked who wrote it, and I showed her, and she's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, well,
It's for the best.
we probably know why.
Yeah. So just a quick distillation. Wolverine is shopping at Lacey's, not Macy's, though it's clearly Macy's. And he bumps into, I guess, the heir to some kind of rich fortune.
It's Paris
a character
Hilton.
That's very,
It's Paris Hilton.
Yeah, I guess. Is that who it's supposed to be?
It's
very
2007.
poorly developed.
It's 2007, so I'm pretty sure it's Paris Hilton.
Okay, doesn't look anything like Paris Hilton.
Well, for legal
she gets
reasons.
kidnapped by Black Christmas, and Wolverine and her bodyguard go ahead and take out all the elves. It's not a great comic. Chris's, what did you think?
Okay. So I got really hung up on the fact that this like adult looking heiress was going to sit on Santa's
Right.
lap at
What
the
is
mall.
that?
This was like a woman. She was definitely written to. I feel like she was like late 20s as written, or at least like as drawn. I was like, this is like a grown
Yes.
woman.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't help that she's wearing glasses and, kind of has like a 40s librarian vibe, right? Like,
Yeah, she kind of looked like a mom to me.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. The art is
Which
not
is-
helping anything.
but-
Here.
No, I think Paul Mounts is the MVP of this entire issue. Like the colors looked completely fine. It's just like the rest was not doing it for me.
Okay, let me tell you though, the youthful touch of the hair barrette. It really communicates that she's young, she's hip, she has a barrette.
It's really just awkward. And there's like fake explosions and Radio City, or excuse me, Rockefeller Center ice skating rink. I mean, we're hitting the the landmarks here, but the story is pretty dull.
Right. It the whole deal with the weird like group of elves is they're like they say they're like a death cult, but they actually just use that as a cover to try to get like ransom
Which is
money.
again very Die Hard.
Right.
It is just exceptionally Die Hard. There's the tiniest bit of tension at the end when like her vest is like on a countdown. She's wearing like a bomb vest that they put on her. And so we get like this countdown as Wolverine is like cutting dudes up. And then he grabs the vest and just like hugs it. And then like it blows up and he's like in pieces on the ground and is like Merry Christmas or whatever.
with the beautiful imagery of the angels, the trumpeting angels all aglow looking over him.
What year did this
2006.
come out?
Published date is February 2007, but that's 3 months ahead of time, so December 06.
Wow.
Right. So
Huh.
December 06. This was like an area where like a region of time where I feel like comics could not be like joyfully earnest.
No.
Mm.
No one can be happy.
And,
I feel
and this is like such a representation of that.
That's a good point.
like this entire comic was like they had the idea of the one pretty good splash page of Wolverine like in shadows with his claws out standing on top of the corpses of a bunch of elves. I feel like they had that image and they said, okay, how do we get to this? And how do we make this the center of our story and then also fill out a double-sized issue with it? We need 39 more pages, but we've got this one down.
I forgot that this is a double-sized issue. It did not feel like one.
Oh, yeah.
No, it doesn't feel that
big,
way.
but it's vast. It's empty.
It's like an empty Macy's.
That's just every Macy's
echoey.
now. I don't know how to tell you this. The Macy's industry not doing so hot.
Yeah.
Not this year. Nope. I just didn't like it. I just did not like this comic. I thought it was dull. I thought it was kind of trite, and I thought it was pretty poorly executed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
And
this is not great.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to put Wolverine in a Santa suit on the cover, I want more.
Yeah.
I want him to have like a little fun.
Oh, there's no fun to be had here.
No, this is not a fun comic.
No, especially with all of these like, you know, bro-y insults that get thrown around. I know I mentioned that before, but
It is so
like,
2006.
It really has like a
Like throwing around the
we
daddy issues and
Yeah. It's just not great. Anyway, we should rank this and get it over with so we can talk about more fun stuff.
So
What do
are you
think?
talking about ranking on our
Yeah, I
big old
agree.
list of all the comics that have ever existed of all time, of all the X-Men comics?
I sure am, yeah.
Where we have currently 447 stories on our list. The number one story is The House of X and Powers of 10. The number 100th story on our list is Ultimate X-Men 1 through 6, The Tomorrow People. The number 200th story on our list is the first appearance of the Juggernaut, X-Men 12 and 13. Number 300 on this big old list is Gambit, 9 through 12, Tombstone Blues. Number 400 on the list is Pint Size X-Babies Murderama. And the very last bottom bestest, worstest story is the Draco. This is not as good as that Gambit story.
No, it is not.
It's bad. It's bad. I have not read all of these stories you've read, so we're gonna mostly be relying.
Chris, are you telling me
I haven't-
one of the internet's foremost writers on the comic book series X-Men by Jonathan Hickman et al. Has not read every X-Men comic?
but you've got a lot of
boy.
bad ones on the list.
Yeah,
Like-
I've read like a lot of good ones.
The real mangy stuff is down here at the bottom. So I'm all the way down at 390. I am looking at Emma Frost solo series 1 to 6 Higher Learning, which I think is also trying to play off of a Paris Hilton trope to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. and this is about
Is
on
that the one
par
where the
with
horse
that.
blows up?
No, that's
No.
The
Firestar.
horse
We've
blow
not
up.
talked
Yeah,
about when
that's-
Emma Frost blew up a pony.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to Firestar yet.
It'll get there. I hear that. See, I have not read the Emma Frost one. I've heard that it is more than its covers.
Oh,
But
it is.
otherwise,
But it is still bad.
Especially among our
okay.
specific circle of friends. There are staunch defenders of this series. I think they are wrong, but they are allowed to have their own opinions.
They are. They are just not guesting tonight.
But
so,
Chris, you were on our episode
so
when
is this worse than that? When we did
yeah,
Onslaught.
which is right above it at 389. That's the X-Man and X-Force part of Onslaught, which I think is better than this. I don't know about your opinion.
I do actually. There were at least like wild things about that Onslaught stuff. Man, it was not good. The X-Force stuff was not bad though. It was. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't the worst. This is worse than that. Yeah,
Adam,
I agree.
I think this is worse than the X-Men Noir and Weapon X Noir stuff, which is pretty close to that.
I do too.
X-Men Noir is really
Yeah, it's
bad.
not
Yeah.
good.
Really terrible. But I don't think it's as bad as John Byrne's Hidden Years 6 and 7.
Oh, the secret time they met Storm.
I hate that. That's a stupid retcon.
Well, John Byrne
So-
wrote it, so
This should be our 394.
yeah, this will be our number 394. Wolverine 49. Better to give.
Quick editor's note here. We recorded the episode after this, before we recorded this episode, so the numbering is going to be a little wonky
For those of you playing along at
for
home.
for anyone that actually pays attention to that, which is probably not you.
I feel
listening.
like you, Chris and Christy, you are less guests of this or less hosts of this show than we are. I feel like most people like hear the numbers, but they don't perceive what the numbers mean.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Like it gives you a ballpark idea of
Yeah.
the rating.
I tend to look at them not when I'm actually listening to the
Yeah.
podcast.
That'd be a
Like,
wild
yeah.
thing to do.
I don't have the list.
Especially while I'm like
Just sit there with the list in front
Yeah.
of you. I mean,
in
there.
your car.
Do people have access to observe?
Oh no,
your-
it's a
your,
private
cell
it's a
dot?
private
no,
Excel
no, 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 no.
spreadsheet.
Oh, because I know that like with the Every Story Ever list, you can look at it as they are doing it on a
Every
Thursday night or
story
whenever
ever
they
list.
record it.
I'm not familiar, Chris. What are you talking about?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, speaking of that list that I know nothing about, the next story is the next story on our list is actually a big anthology, and it has become a sort
Yeah.
of tradition here. It's Merry X-Men Holiday Special. It was released in 2018. It's an advent calendar with a framing story by Chris Sims and Chad Bowers with Marco Falia, the writers of which are both friends of the show. Israel Silva does the colors on that one. And then everyone else in the world does a page.
And
Oh,
it's,
so many people.
it's freaking delightful.
I think like the interesting like exemption is because he was such a big secret at the time. Jonathan Hickman does not have anything to do with.
He
this,
does
with
not.
this movie.
Though that would have been a wild drop.
Just throw
It would have been right because he was working on it
Yes.
at this point. There, we have like clear evidence of that.
Yes, he was, but they decided to keep that in their back pocket. Now,
Yes.
are there people in here that I would love to be replaced with even a bad Jonathan Hickman gag? Yes, we'll get to it. So,
Why don't we start with everybody's favorites?
yeah, let's go around the circle. Let's start with Chris. What of these stories is your favorite? Name one that stands out to you.
The Glob one stands out a lot. I know you're
Well,
probably
you're
gonna say
talking
that
about the
one, but
best
that's
comic
always
of
the one
all
I
time.
remember the most.
It's
I am such a sucker for a wordless gag in a comic
so
book.
that's Deck
Like-
the Halls
like ju-
by Ed Brisson and Perry Perez.
Right, where Glob Herman hangs mistletoe, sets up a chair, and sits under it. like he's just like he'll be there all day. He is Captain America in that moment, and he can do this all day.
It's very
It's
good.
so beautiful.
It's
poetic.
As a man with, okay, at the moment, only 2 framed pictures of Glob Herman in this room, but about to be 4 once I get a couple more frames, I care about that page, or about that page of comics.
Yeah.
Harry Perez sells
It's
it.
just
Ed
beautiful.
Brisson loves the boy. It's just nice.
I am also a pretty big fan of the December, let's see, 14th, which is done fully by Chip Zdarsky,
Yep.
where Nightcrawler gives Old Man Logan, because Wolverine's dead at this point, or no, Wolverine's alive at this
Yes.
point, but no one knows it, I think. Yes. Gives him the framed picture of him, because it was like a gag back in like X-Men Annual number 4
Yep.
that Wolverine gave him a picture of himself framed, and it was
While
just, like,
eating an
something they
incredibly
drew on
large
panel.
turkey leg.
It's so good. And I like that Chip. That's such a Chip move to like notice like a background gag and like pull from it, because he's like the king of background gags in Sex Criminals, a comic that he draws.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
So those two are those are my favorite.
Adam, how
Okay.
about yourself? What's 2 that you really like from here?
Wait. We skipped Christy. Let's
We
go to
didn't
Christy.
skip. I was working them in. But Chris,
Okay.
fine. We can if you want to concede, Christy, you are our guest. Is there a comic or 2 in here that you really enjoyed?
I loved December 13th, Christmas Catastrophe, script by Kelly Thompson, with Rogue and Gambit and their cats. And I just thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, I loved the framing story of Jubilee, but thinking about like the little one-shots, I really enjoyed that one. I also shared Chris's love for the Old Man Logan and Nightcrawler and the round cuts of firewood. I just thought it was
That's
it was
David
fun.
Lopez on that
I mean,
catastrophe one, and it's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Do I get to go on
Yes,
on
you
about
can
the Jubilee
go.
thing?
You can. Is the Jubilee one your favorite?
Of course it's my favorite. You guys know I love Jubilee, and the fact that Sims and Bowers reunite from X-Men 92, and immediately after Jubilee decides to go on vacation with Shogo, she gets abducted by Arcade. There's such like fun little things in here, like how and I think I've talked to Chad about this, the idea that he and Sims brought in the Santa outfit wearing Marvel superheroes as villains, but they're from the old 80s house ads. I absolutely love that touch. That's on December 11th. And then, of course, Jubilee gets to kick butt and rollerblade, which is just it's so much fun. If I had to pick any other one in here, it would probably be the Multiple Man one on December 24th. Because
That's Matthew
it's just
Rosenberg and
another-
Andy McDonald from the Multiple Man series.
I just, I'm a sucker for that miniseries, so I like that one too. Zach, we haven't left a lot of stuff for you.
Don't worry.
What's your personal fave?
A couple of my faves are still around here. The Glob Herman one is number 1 with a bullet, my fave. I'm a friggin' mark for Zach Thompson and Lonnie Nadler. So them with Generation X artist Emil Carpina doing a story about Nature Girl being sad about Christmas and
sad.
consumerism. It's like, man, oh no,
man.
Zach Thompson and Lonnie Nadler, you did a story about society and also plants and also sadness. Aw, but it's good and I like it. And then if
All right, we should probably
can
talk about...
I pick one more? Everyone else got to do 2. Can I do 2, please?
You can do as many as you want, Zach. It's your show.
It's our show. It's everyone's show. It's a collective show. If I was going to pick one others that I did like, I'd probably... I'm stuck between there's a Leah Williams and Marcio Takara one about
Oh yeah.
Brian Braddock seeing Betsy for the first time in her original body. That's pretty sweet. And there's a Timmy
Yes.
Howard and Brett Schroeder one shot about Hope, and Hope Summers' relationship with Cable is something that I feel very strongly about. And then there's a Rainbow Rowell and Chris Anka one where Beast is sad, and it's always fun to see Beast sad.
I kind of felt bad for Beast there.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah. It's a good one. Nobody picked Hot
it's pretty
Claws
rare.
for Hanukkah.
Hot Claws for Hanukkah's.
Hot Claws for Hanukkah is
That's the best. Is that the best thing Charles Soule ever wrote for the X-Men? Because I think the answer is yes.
Well, at least about Hot Claws, that's for sure.
I love that he just realized that he couldn't take it seriously anymore and decided to.
You remember
Just
about
go
the
for
time
it,
when
yeah.
Wolverine got so energized and so angry that sometimes his claws just got really hot?
Yeah. And we will never talk about it
No.
again.
You say that,
will
but
not.
there was something I thought we would never talk about again, and that's how Wolfsbane can turn into 5 wolves sometimes, and that showed up in a comic this week.
And the fabulous New Mutants.
God, Zach, I was like, Zach, we can't talk about that yet.
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot
off
about
embargo.
that.
This comes out later. It's fine. It's very funny.
This comes out next Monday.
Something that probably should have stayed on embargo is there are a few clunkers in here. I think the absolute worst offender in this book is the fact that Marvel paid actual dollars and money to the extremely I'm going to just call him offensive. I don't know what else you can say about this person, but Charlemagne the God, the radio personality, is given a 1-page with Storm in which he name drops himself twice.
And proves that Storm not only
does.
listens to him and on his podcast, which is a weird choice because Storm does not listen to podcasts.
No.
I can tell you,
Right.
Storm doesn't do that.
Do you know how many people on God's internet were like, "There's no way Storm listens to Charlemagne the God"?
I mean, like,
No.
It was like I've not seen a single person who is like, "Yes, this definitely like is within the realm of
Storm
possibility."
then complains
They're like,
about the
"No."
weather.
Yeah, I think she can control.
It's her one defining thing.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
There's a great, I've seen a really nice supercut of people coming on the show and telling him off in their studio. And I feel like Storm would be one of those people. So this particular page drives me bananas. Any other real clunkers here that people didn't like?
I did not particularly enjoy. There is one page, and Oh yeah, this one made me sad. There's an Al Ewing and PJ Holden comic about Smasher and Cannonball that I get the joke, but I'm not laughing. Like, it doesn't land.
Right.
The War on Christmas by Aliens.
Like, I get it.
Oh, I didn't hate that one.
It's going to be different.
The Chris Claremont one is kind of wild in that like it. So like the page itself.
Terry
is fine.
Dodson and Rachel Dodson do
It's-
that one.
It's
Beautiful artwork.
Love that Dodson artwork. Sotomayor on colors, great, perfect. But like you can tell that Chris was like, I am just gonna write a random story. Is Kitty alive right now? I don't know what's going on. And they're like, yeah, Kitty's alive right now. And he's like, all right, I'm just gonna write something because I always wanted her to be president, and maybe if I put this out in the world, people will like.
It's
uptake
weird
it
that
again.
he worked in Wicked
then-
from his much-loved Excalibur series.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know if it's good or bad, but Domino murders a guy.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
good.
that sounds
You think it's
great.
I
good?
think it's good.
It sounds great. But otherwise there's one December 23rd
Is that the Nightcrawler one?
where Nightcrawler like finds some kids that are out and is like bamfs a bunch of bamfs in to, I don't know, do something, but they look like, what are they going to do to these children?
I don't know. And their mom's there with the rolling pin and curlers in her hair.
Is she going to beat these kids with her rolling pin? Like, that is really not okay.
Very unclear.
It is really unclear. Those are kind of the weird ones. Although, like, most of the art in this is really good. So it's hard to complain about the art.
It's true.
This is a easy read. It's a fun pickup, and it lets you get the feel for just about everyone. Because I don't think there's anyone that like you could read their page and be like, oh yeah, this is just generic. No, all of the creators poured themselves into one page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of them are pretty successful.
Reading Leah's page, I didn't even look at the credits at the top until I was like partway through the page, and I was like, Leah Williams wrote this page, and I was like, yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
And I'm like, it's one page, and like it was her.
No, it was delightful, and I recall that basically being my favorite X title from that year. It's the only one I can remember, so I'll call it. I mean,
my 2018
favorite. No, X-Men Red was that year.
X-Men Red was that year. New Mutants Dead Souls was that year.
I didn't read Dead
Chris,
Souls.
Dead Souls rules. I know.
Dead Souls is
I hear it
very
does.
good, as is Multiple Man.
Yeah. Rosenberg did 2 really good stories that year.
Mm-hmm. I will say the one thing that I am disappointed in is that they never did this again, at least so far. And I get why. I do get it. I mean, it doesn't really fit into the, the current scheme of things, but it's such a fun idea. And I love the idea of having a little holiday anthology like this.
Adam, do you think they're not allowed to celebrate Christmas?
No, they can.
Like a Krakoan holiday special sounds amazing.
They could decorate Krakoa as their tree.
Like imagine Krakoa as a Christmas tree, but also
in
he's a
the
Santa
quiet
hat.
council
my
room.
God.
He's sitting there, but there's like bulbs and candy canes hanging from him. The large tree island.
Well, and just think about like all the places they could go through the gates to like they could go. You know how like the Zorns live in the Himalayas and we haven't ever talked about it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could go there and sit and have a nice snowy fire and talk to the Zorns.
We could get mutant Santa Claus back.
Mutant Santa Claus could live on Krakoa some of the time.
Yes.
And there's a gate from Krakoa to the North Pole because Santa Claus is canonically a
There
mutant
is
in the movie.
absolutely a gate to the North Pole. Like, I know that Santa does not need the mutant drugs, much like the country of Wakanda, but I feel like Santa does respect the effort that Krakoa is making.
Oh, absolutely.
But he is a mutant, so he's allowed through the gates.
Uh-huh. And Santa's got to visit all of the Christmas celebrating mutant children.
All the little Krakoan children in the Academos.
Guys, we're just selling this. Like, this needs to happen.
Jordan, I know you're listening.
2021.
Please call. Please. We've got this. We'll bring it. We'll bring in some pretty good artists and writers. You don't even have to worry about the editorial stuff. We'll just send it all over to you. It'll be a finished package. It'll be fine. I'll letter it myself.
All right, so
You know what? Maybe next year, if we have free time, we should do a fan comic where we do Krakoan Christmas.
hey, if they're not going to do it themselves, I mean,
Listen.
we just have to DIY it, you know?
Be the energy you want to see in the world.
Exactly.
That's right.
Now, let's talk about the energy that we want to put onto this list. This one's pretty good.
I think it's great.
Positive opinion.
Yeah. I'm thinking top 100 here.
Okay.
What's 100 right now?
Ultimate X-Men, the first arc.
I don't think this is as good as that.
Okay.
It's uneven is the problem. There are some real
is.
stinkers in this
It is.
one. I don't think it's as good as 109, which is the X-Men in Life Lessons, which is that burn victim comic that's surprisingly really good.
Yeah. We haven't talked about that in a while.
It's
That's a really
good.
good one. Yeah. No,
Steven
you're right.
Spielberg helped with that one.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I can't believe I said a Mark Millar comic is better than this.
Listen. That Mark Millar comic does not have a page by Charlemagne the God.
I'm willing to overlook
It has my
that.
favorite bit.
I
Yeah, it is mostly good except for that. I don't want that page to drag this thing down.
That one pulls down.
It's exceptionally corny.
That one breaks the curve the wrong way, which is tough on it. But the rest of the comic is mostly good. Like anything else is like inoffensive and just like fine. You're not a professional comic book writer who can really sell a 1-page gag, which is hard to do. But like this is better as a whole than number 120, All New Dupe, I think.
How do you feel about it against Exterminators at 112, Zach? I know they're beloved, and we got Taki back.
Yeah, I would put. Can I make a suggestion, Adam?
All right,
I'd say below Exterminators, below that time that Magneto threw Red Skull into a hole, but above that sad airport issue of Cable, where Richter and Shatterstar have a sad time in an airport.
I think that's a good place for it, actually. We would put it below Murder at the Mansion from New X-Men, 139 to 141.
I would say This could be our new number 118.
I love it. I think that's great. It's a good spot on the list. This is a lot of fun. And if this somehow missed, you missed this somehow, pick it up or read it on Unlimited. It's fantastic.
I think it's literally always free on Comixology.
Oh, that's even better. Great. All right, so we took a break from this for the first part of this episode, but we have to get back to being a Power Pack podcast, Zach.
Yeah, we do. Hey, Christy, before we get into this, can you pitch your podcast to us just real quick? What is it that you guys cover, like specifically?
Oh, crossovers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is a crossover. This is not. What's weird about this is it's not bannered as this, and it might be the only Marvel comic not to have this banner in March of 1986. But this is Fallout from Secret Wars 2.
Everybody's favorite event, which we have not covered yet.
Oh my gosh. If you guys, you would have to read it all, wouldn't you?
All the tie-ins?
No, we could just read.
What if I gave Christy a checklist of all the tie-ins, though?
Why would you do that to me, Zach? I would have to do the checklist. I would have to do it.
This is a spin-off of New Mutants 36, where Secret Wars happens and Illyana accidentally does an Inferno, like a mini Inferno.
Right. Yep.
And then it goes over to Power Pack number 20. Yeah. Power Pack number 20 with Louise Simonson and New Mutants creator Bob McLeod. Where they do Inferno.
Pretty much. I mean, you'd be...
Yeah. It is
like the fact that you're
Inferno.
saying it's a Secret Wars tie-in. I remember reading this and I was like, wait a minute. This isn't when Inferno happens. But we do have demons robbing pet shops to start the issue.
And stealing babies.
Yeah.
Again, when we...
Wolvie.
When we say that they are just doing an Inferno, I mean Louise Simonson wrote the same story like 3 years later. Only expanded it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
We have demons on the loose from Limbo. They are stealing babies. Power Pack, fresh off of their Thanksgiving dinner with Beta Ray Bill, Leech, Anna Lee, Cloak and Dagger,
Franklin
Wolverine,
Richards.
and Kitty Pryde, which we talked about last episode, are visiting their mother from outside the window of the hospital for some reason. I guess they're not allowed to see her.
They're too young.
Too young.
You remember when we used to be able to go to hospitals to visit our young loved ones? There were age restrictions.
Oh, okay. And they bump into the New Mutants who are trying to solve this demon problem. And Danny Moonstar is also trying to fend off like an angel of death who is coming to claim the Power Pack mom. There's a lot going on.
I was
in this
not
issue.
clear on this, Adam. I was not clear on this. Was this an angel of death, or was this the literal death of the Marvel Universe, the one that Thanos
Yes,
lusts
that one.
after?
Is it though?
Danny fights with literal
Yeah.
death, I think.
It's confusing because depending on the artist, Danny has a tendency, because she can see these visages of death, to fight them off, but they always kind of look different. Like Bob McLeod's version is weird.
Here's what I'll say. I'll no price this.
Bob
one.
McLeod's version is goth. Yeah.
I will no price this. This is an aspect of the universal constant of death. But this is not the full powered Thanos destroyed half of the universe to like maybe get her to, check yes on his will you go out with me card. This is just a bit of her. This is her being distracted and just doing her day-to-day work of, well, this person's dead. I gotta get them.
I can understand why that's confusing.
This is like just a bit of her that touches the material plane.
Yes.
I can dig that. But she does just kind of look like the death. She looks like Elvira. She
looks pretty cute.
Christy's like, would date.
She's checking that box.
Would check yes.
Would check yes. You and Thanos.
So there's a lot of time devoted to that. But you're right, Zach. Like, it even goes so far as to happen around the Empire State Building, which is very central to Inferno as well.
Yeah, they capture Energizer, Katie Power, the youngest and nicest of the Power Pack, and try and use her Energizer powers to make a bigger gate to Limbo so all of the demons can come out. While Mirage, Cannonball, and Wolfsbane just kind of stop it. Hey, I love their interactions in this. Louise Simonson took a minute when she actually took over New Mutants to understand how she wanted to write these characters, but she already had it back in this issue. They're good here.
Mm-hmm. It's great to see Bob drawing.
We definitely
too.
get yeah, it's an abbreviated New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Sam and Rain wrestling over the scarf. I don't know. It looks like a dog toy. It's kind of.
Listen,
that's a great touch.
If you could turn into a wolf,
bit.
would you not also want to play fetch?
I don't know.
Is it? It was like a tug of war, but it's got to be. I mean, dogs love it. It's just I guess it's got to be a satisfying mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just want that. They just want that scarf.
They look like they're having fun.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big sucker for a panel, like a background panel gag.
It's a fun. That's what this issue is. It's a lot of fun, with the weirdly heavy parts about how the Power Pack's mom is possibly going to die thanks to curse from Thor breaking her.
Not
yeah,
great.
that character.
Not great.
Power Pack did a lot of crossing over.
Yeah, bud.
Oh yeah, it's like
Power
every
Pack's
issue.
always this way, though.
I mean, the kids deal with a lot of pretty dark stuff. Every time I read this, I'm like, how does this feel so lighthearted and fun? But also, these kids have to be adults.
Remember when Sabretooth nearly killed Franklin Richards, and that was just the thing we had to accept?
Hey, speaking of, everybody's favorite mutant is in this issue too.
Oh, Franklin?
Predicting the.
You mean definitely a mutant, Franklin Richards?
Yes, that's who I'm talking about. Gets to save.
He saves a Santa
Gets
Claus.
to save a Santa.
He does save a Santa. He's hanging out with Jarvis.
Yeah, his friend. It's
It's
good. I like Franklin here. I like the Power Pack here. I like the New Mutants here. This is just like a fun little issue.
It is. However, it is not as good as the ultimate version, which is Inferno. It's not there.
It's probably not as good as Inferno. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that one.
It's the proto Inferno, but it is really bizarre to see these concepts being drawn out in this issue. It's so similar.
I don't know if you could get away with it. No, what am I saying? Of course you can get away with it these days. There are writers who get away with literally using the same concept in every single series. So why would we? But this at least felt a little bit different. It had a different cast of characters. It had it juggled a few storylines in a way that was kind of fun.
No, I think it works really well. Oh, go ahead.
Power Pack's just always fun, and I love when kids look like kids in comics. It always makes me happy.
Doesn't happen anymore. People forgot how to draw kids.
It's just adults but
swear.
smaller with bigger weird faces, right?
Yup.
Yeah. Bob McLeod can draw kids. John Bogdanove can draw kids. And like June Brigman can draw kids. And then like now everybody's like, I forgot. How do I do it? I can draw big muscle men.
Draw big eyes.
You know, there are people who can. Like I'm being overly harsh on a lot of, but gosh, on Chris's we find a lot of like in events like people cannot draw children. They just cannot do it.
I love to
But enough about
hyperfixate
Hope
on it.
Summers.
It's really satisfying.
Oh man, she'll think a soccer mom, just a tiny soccer mom.
It's never good. But
It's never good. This comic's pretty good.
It's
I
pretty
would
good.
agree. Now, Zach, I see on the list you have highlighted Inferno.
Oh, it's not as
at
good as
106.
Inferno at 106.
Not nearly as good. How do you feel about it against something like 128, which is that time that Kitty Pryde
Fought an alien from Aliens?
and Alone in the X Mansion.
Oh, it's not as good as that.
Not as good as that.
Yeah, that's better. That's
So-
you read that issue too, Christy. That's a good issue.
It's a good issue. At 166, we have Power Pack 19, the Thanksgiving issue that comes right before this, which I think is better, if only because also Beta Ray Bill's in that one.
Yeah, that also has Leech running away from people dressed like Kermit the Frog because they are holding the Kermit the Frog Macy's Day Parade balloon.
Yeah. But it's better than like 203 on our list is the Power Pack 11 through 12 Morlocks issue.
Yeah, it's better than that. How do you feel about it compared to like 182 Kitty Pryde and Wolverine mini?
That's where I was looking. It's about there. I would say it's below that, above 185 Age of Apocalypse 1 through 4 and Uncanny X-Force 19.1 Exterminated. But I don't know how I feel about it compared to like Old Woman Laura at 183.
I think this is better than old.
I would
Laura.
say it's better as well.
Okay. Well, then I don't care what Christy has to say.
I
That's
actually
3
think
to 1.
old woman Laura is weirdly weak. Christy has not read Old Woman Laura.
I mean, it's a weird way to
enjoy
end
it.
a series.
I like Old Woman Laura. It's great.
But
we had that episode already.
yeah, we already did that one. But this is now our new number 183 on our list, Power Pack 20. And guys and gals and everyone and everything, it's done. We're done with our Christmas episode.
It's just over? We don't get to talk at all?
No, we definitely don't want to let the Chris's.
Are we gonna
have a
open our
chance.
presents?
I actually think that presents have just been opened for us a few days after this airs. Or
Yeah,
a
we
few
do
days
have
before
our,
this airs.
That's true.
We do have our Secret Santa coming.
We do have a Secret Santa. I have it on my bed back here. I do not know what it is.
Yeah, the Xavier File Secret Santa will actually have happened before this episode
So
came out.
let's assume
Chris is under the tree.
let's assume that I got a beard trimmer. I don't know. It'd be a weird choice.
There's no way you got personal hygiene products.
You would be surprised. But
Maybe that's what he put on his wish list.
See, I know who everybody's Secret Santas are, so I have fairly good ideas of what you might be getting. From
Christy
each
did
of
the
them.
organizing.
Christy, wait, are you telling me Christy organized something?
Shocking.
Right. If Xavier Files had an office, Christy would be the office manager, and it's like that's just 100%
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
But you know, we love her for that. It's great. Hey, Christy, what do you guys do?
I don't know.
Loaded question.
We host the podcast that we mentioned earlier. Chris is on Infinite Earths, where we cover all sorts of crossovers, not just X-Men, Marvel, DC,
Occasionally, Marvel and DC crossing over with things that aren't either.
Yes.
Is there any Muppet content?
We recently, our recent Christmas episode was the ultimate Muppets crossover, Muppet Family Christmas, that aired once in '87.
So excited for that episode.
Which was the crossover. It was a crossover between the Muppets, the Muppet Babies, and the Fraggles.
And Sesame Street.
And the Sesame Street characters. It's wonderful, and it is so hard to get because of the rights issues being so strange these days. But it was fun to cover.
Exciting.
And you can also check out our writing on a website that has a name.
Oh yeah, Xavier Files. Soon
that some people are
soon
familiar with.
to be dead. Xavier Files.
Yeah,
it's in its
It's a real
twilight
shame.
years. But I've seen a few letters floating around at this point, like a X, an F, and a C in some sort of order. So we'll figure out what's up with that.
Yeah, that information is forthcoming.
It's a secret,
but-
Adam.
I'm not telling anybody. Eddleman's, where can people find you if they want to find you in the internet sphere?
If you want to find our podcast on Twitter or Facebook, we're at Chris's Pod. If you are looking for just me on Twitter, you can find me at Christi Eddleman.
I'm at Strictly Worse. It's a Magic the Gathering joke.
It's a very good Magic the Gathering joke. Hey, what about you, Adam?
Folks, you can always find me at Arthur Stacy, and wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm at just check out Xavier Files. It's a website, soon to be deceased, and at Xavier Files on Twitter. But one last time, Chris and Christy, thank you so much.
Yay!
I had so much fun. I feel like there's something missing though from the Christmas spirit of this episode. Some sort of
What is
celebratory capstone. Like perhaps what is the word? It's a Christmas carol? Perhaps?
Oh yeah, we should sing.
All right, everyone ready? Let's go on 3. Ready? 1. Wait, no, we got to do 4 because it's music.
It's 4/4.
So it's 1, 2, 3.
On the 12th day of Christmas, the X-Men sent to me
12 council members.
11 X-Men titles.
10 swords a slashing.
9 Moira lifetimes.
8 Sexton houses.
7 violent swans.
6 teleporters.
5 golden eggs.
4 angry horsemen.
3 Krakoan laws.
2 mutant lands.
And
And Doug sitting in a big tree.